Shalom, family. I pray that you're well and in a good place. I'm your brother Daweed. I've come to share a message with you. I want to share something that was given to me that I think that you might benefit from. And it was simply a message that I received while praying and meditating for my family. And the Most High spoke to me. And I don't think that is a light thing. I'm not one that says that the Most High is speaking to me 24 hours a day, every day, all day. I'm not that person. But when he does speak, I know that it's him. Messiah boldly declared that my sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me, and another they will not follow. So knowing the voice of the Most High is absolutely essential, especially in the times that we're living, because there's so many distractions. There's so many things that are vying and competing for your attention. You have to know. You should know. I suggest that you put forth the investigative principles, the time, the effort to determine the voice of the Most High. This is what he said. Get your family on war footing. I'll say it again. Get your family on war footing. Now, that's not a term that is typical for family. It's typically used for governments. It's typically used for countries when they are preparing for war. But that came to me and I had to really meditate and figure out how I can do such a thing, because it's not a one-time event. Those that are familiar with me, I've been, doing this for quite some time. But over the course of time, you get what's called preparedness fatigue, where you can't really maintain it for an excessive duration because, just life happens. But for me, it was a clarion call to look out at the environment and see where you are and then make the necessary changes. And I'm praying, hoping that this will be beneficial to you. So I want to define a couple terms. I'm going to read a couple scriptures and I'll be done sharing what I need to share. Let's look at it. What is war footing? War footing is your official stance or posturing in a particular conflict. What is your official stance as a patriarch, as a matriarch, as a family for a potential conflict? Have you looked out at the world, at the politics, and what's going on around you? There are different things that may be going on in Missouri that are not going on in Georgia. There are different threats in California that may not be threats in Wisconsin. Wherever you are, I'm asking you to consider the potential conflicts that are around you. Now, when we say footing, what does it mean for footing? Footing is your stance. It's your salvation. Those that do combat sports know that your footing is the most important thing. Your stance is the most important thing. Do you make yourself an easy target? Are you square or are you angle? How do you move? Are you quick on your feet? Are your heels on the ground? Versus are you nimble on your toes? I think that we have to consider this, first of all, spiritually. There is a spiritual component that is more essential than even a physical, but we cannot deny the physical. Our salvation will be physical, yet it comes from spiritual principles. So your footing, your stance that you're taking on potential conflict, I always say that if you can increase the distance between you and your enemy, you decrease the likelihood of conflict. This is not used in everyday speech, as I said, but I think that it's very, very relevant. And there was a reason why the Father said this to me. It motivates me and immediately gets my military mind going. I think that with that, I've gone about trying to prepare my family for potential challenges, a potential crisis, and survival type situations, not necessarily literal combat. So being on war footing isn't about just amassing armaments and kinetic projectiles. It's more about having a plan for the conflict way before that comes. So as right now we are in relative peace times, it's during peace times that you prepare for war times. You get your family on war footing way before the war. And here's the thing. I know those that subscribe to the doctrine or the mindset that the Most High will do everything. He will deliver me. He'll lift me up and bear me up on his wings, lest I dash my foot against a stone. This is the very thing that Hasatan, or the devil, used against Messiah in the Brit Hadashah, in the New Testament. He gave him Psalms 91, but Messiah was able to put that back in context. Yes, that's true, but I also have a mandate to prepare. And we're going to go over a couple scriptures. We'll go over the book of Joel, chapter 3, to pull some scriptures from the what they call the Old Testament. But we'll also look at the book of Matthew, just to bring it together and to ensure that we go line upon line and we have some precepts in order to have at least 2 or 3 witnesses for our word to be valid. Now, to put your family on war footing. War footing is a state of readiness for a conflict. How ready are you for a conflict? You won't know that until you do a resource assessment. You got to ask yourself, what do you need? How many people will I need said thing for, and the duration of that? So what do I need? Who do I need it for? And how long would I need it? Those are all questions that you should consider in the time of you preparing and getting your family on war footing as you're looking at your resource assessment. And from there, you may have to ask yourself, do I have a fallback position? I don't, and I'm encouraging you, I don't ask the Most High to do anything for me that I can do for myself. If I can do it for myself, it means that he's given me the power and the ability to do so. Therefore, I don't need his direct help because he's already given me his direct help. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? He's already empowered me. So why am I going back to ask him to do what he's already done? Now, I'm not asking anyone, nor am I suggesting that there be this, that you prepare for this physical conflict with projectiles. That's why I'm really being careful, because it can be misconstrued to that. It can easily go to that. My preparations are spiritual first, physical second. And even then, it's never offensive. It's always defensive. Okay? All right. So we looked at implying your resource assessment. Then the next thing, because we're going to get to the scripture, is tightening up your discipline. Tightening up your discipline. I talked to my family about the necessity of discipline, where one way you can do that is you start fasting. We fast once a week, at least. Everybody. We'll put the dogs on the fast. Everybody fasting. You have to prepare them to be able to function without food. You got to put them, consider fasting from sugar, fasting from caffeine, see how they function with sleep deprivation, because all these things may happen. Consider in the wilderness, they didn't have the comforts, and sometimes your comfort can become your own captivity. You're captive and imprisoned and confined by your comforts, by your modern conveniences. And what I'm suggesting to you is there may come a time where you don't have those things. And then the question is, how are you going to operate? Are you going to murmur? Are you going to complain? Are you going to be out of pocket? Are you going to not respect the hierarchy of the family simply because you are sleepy? Being sleep deprived is not a reason to go against. In the family, you have a chain of command for people to become angry, bitter, and not easy to deal with. I've gone through, training where you are sleep deprived, just to see if you're going to get that mental fog, if you can still execute what you need to execute. Let's keep going. You also, the next thing is clearly assign roles. In looking at your resources, in tightening up your discipline, you may want to consider having a resource officer, a security officer, a financial officer, a medical officer that can ensure the wholeness of the tribe. And then you have someone that can look at heightened alertness, heightened awareness. Awareness of what? I'm glad that you asked. Look at your weather. What are your vulnerabilities when it comes to weather, when it comes to natural disasters? Someone in Florida has way different vulnerabilities for someone that may live in Tennessee. You follow what I'm saying? So if you're not at risk for hurricane or for flooding, and there's been a lot of that in Texas. So those that rock with us and that are in Texas, you got to consider flooding. How loss of power, how is that going to affect you? Wildfires, major storms. This is the heightened alertness that will be necessary in order to get your family on war footing. Also, you have to look at your political instability. Is it stable in your environment? The political environment in New York is way different than in Wyoming. It's way different than in Oklahoma. It's different than in New Mexico and Texas. So look at these areas and be aware. Don't put your head in a hole like an ostrich and just say, well, I'll just let the Most High figure it out. No, especially if you're a man, you're a head of household, it is your responsibility. Your family is dependent upon you. The essentialism of family is so that this can go on from generation to generation. I would be neglectful, abdicating my responsibility as a father if I don't prepare my family, especially after the word of the Most High has come to me, which I'm trying to share with you in the most dispassionate yet passionate way to see that this really changed the way that I move. Man, I was talking to my wife. We have to, when we talk about looking at your the financial officer, it may be time to quash and to squelch any frivolous purchases. What are you spending? How is your money going out? This may not be time to buy thus and so. You fill in the blank. I got shoes that's still in the box I'm getting ready to take back to the store. Like, you know what? I don't need that. There comes a point where, you know what? You got enough shoes. You got shoes that you can walk in. You got shoes that you can do whatever in. There comes a time when you got enough. Redirect that to consider, well, do you have solar panels? Do you have a way to produce power? Do you have a generator? Do you have a quiet generator? Do you have a way to get water? Do you have filtration? Do you have clean straws? Do you have whatever? X amount of beans, rice, protein for the family members that you know will come knocking on your door. Have you formed connections with other men, other families, because you can't do everything on your own? I alluded to that, a fallback position. Do you have a fallback position? Have you connected with another man and his family and you guys have some really meaningful conversations about the times that we're living in? No man is an island. I think that's the power of a brotherhood. So consider that, family. Now what I want to do, I want to jump over here. You know what? Let me keep going. And then we'll go to the book of Joel, chapter 3, and give us, you know what? Let's stop. Let's go to, I don't want to go too far without jumping in the word. I was actually reading the War Scrolls, checking some of that out. Yeah, interesting read. Let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. And I'm talking about getting your family on war footing, preparing for a potential conflict. Potential conflict. We can see what's going on with Russia, with America, with China. I just read an article, maybe I'll put it in the description, that Russia, China, who else? Great Britain. Let me see. I may put this in there. Russia, Ukraine, China, and the UK. All of them have gotten their governments, their countries on war footing. On war footing. They're preparing for potential conflicts. Not sure if it's going to happen, but I will be prepared. It was an interesting article from the World Economic Forum And maybe I'll read that after I go to this book of Joel. We are 15 minutes in. Let me speed up. My goodness. All right. Joel chapter 3, verse 1. I'm going to read verse 1 so we have context, maybe 1 and 2. And then I will go to, I'm going to jump down. All right, family. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Okay. Let's get these ads out of the way, because they be everywhere. All right, Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning those that were once captive, he's going to turn it again. We know that right now we're in the land of our captivities. Some people think that the land of our captivities is the promised land. I don't understand how we jump to that, but that's a conversation for another time. He's going to bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. That's who he's talking to. And I will gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them for my people and for my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. We know that our people were sent into captivity, into all nations. We're the only ones that fulfill this prophecy. This is not a video trying to show that we are those people. This, I presume that you know at this point. Now, I want to jump down to verse 9, where it says, Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. This is a declaration where the Father is showing there's going to come a time when people prepare for war. We've read Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There's a time for war. There's a time for peace. I believe that we are gearing up and preparing for a war that is impending. So you should consider getting your family on war footing, because I just told you, according to the World Economic Forum, the Gentiles are preparing for war. So if they're preparing, how are you preparing? I know what the scripture says, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. I get that. I absolutely get that. I'm prepared for that. We prepare spiritually first, but know that it's going to manifest in this dimension, in this realm. So don't ask the Father to do what you could have done when he gave you the resources, time, and the health, the cognitive abilities to do so. Inspire your family to get behind you and rock with you in this. Where the heathen, the Gentiles, they're preparing for war. A lot of them are warlike nations. This isn't new for them. They like to do it. They're prepared for it. But as the text says in Revelation, since they like blood, he's going to give them blood to drink, because they are worthy. They're worthy of experiencing the destruction that is coming upon the earth. So there's going to come a time where they're beating their plowshares into swords, and I think that we should be doing the same thing. We should be preparing in a way that shows the Father that we believe his word, that this nation is under this incremental level of judgment. And if you know this, why not prepare? He's told us there's going to be wars and rumors of wars and famines and pestilence. Okay, let me get my family on war footing and prepare for famine and pestilence. Now, everyone can do that based on their own resources and to different degrees. What that means to you may not mean the same thing to me. I had to have a conversation with my elders, asking them for wisdom, and I received it. And I'm so thankful. They know who they are. I'm thankful for that. They gave me direction, and it broadened my scope of what I was considering. What are you going to do when communications go down? There's communication options. There are Baofangs, radios that you can get, AM/FM radios that you can get. There's a lot of things that you can do to prepare yourself. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. This is a very famous passage of scripture that aligns with Luke chapter 21 as well. When they asked the Messiah what was going to be, let me give you context. Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Those are some heavy statements, man. Man, that's heavy stuff. But we've read this. The first thing that he said is, take heed that no man deceive you. So deception, lies, mistruths are going to be rampant during a time. So just be aware of that. And let's jump down. Let's jump down to verse 16. Actually, I'm going to jump down to 15. Well, let's go up to 14. It's so hard to just jump right into family. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Also readeth, whoso readeth, let him understand. Let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. Boom. That shows action. That shows intentionality. That shows sensitivity and the ability to hear. Then to move, not asking him to come and pick me up and bear me up on eagle's wings and do this for me. No, he's not going to do it. He's told you there is a time for war. He's told me, get your family on war footing. I have to be obedient. There are times when our people will have to take action. I would say this, question those that are telling you to not show your faith by your works, because faith without works is dead. These are the works that need to be done. Prepare. If I believe, I'll do. Because I heard, I take action. There's no proof of hearing minus the action. Let him, verse 17, let him which is on the rooftop not come down or take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back and take his clothes. So you're out and you hear certain things, which goes into the next thing that I was going to discuss is, do you have proverbial red lines? There should be, well, I will say what should be. Look at your family. You guys talk and say, well, if thus and so happens, we know it's time to make a different decision. It's time to move differently. It may be time to relocate. It may be time to just hunker down, whatever that means. But you should have that conversation with them about when thus and so happens. Family, that's an indicator to me that things just really, really went hot. It could be a nuclear event. It could be suspension of the Constitution, whatever that is. I don't know. You do it. You do that research for yourself. I would love to have a conversation with men about it. I don't have any objectives. I don't want anything from you. Don't need you. The Father's been good to me. But I like to connect with people that I don't need and they don't need me. So there's not this parasitic thing going on. You know what I mean? It can be, we come together because we have mutual interests. We may not have mutual doctrines. We may not have mutual likes, dislikes, and interests, but where can we find common ground if we can? I was reading with my family. We were in 2 Timothy 3 today, where it talks about end times. People are going to be truce breakers. Incontinent, fierce, proud, heady, lovers of pleasure. Those that love pleasures, they're not going to put their family on war footing. They're more concerned about having a good time, and they're going to the next festival. They out drinking, they wilding, trying to heap wives to themselves. I'm not going to get into it. Next thing, disaster preparedness. Let's get back to this, and I'm going to be done. We're 20 minutes in. Let me hurry up. Look at disaster preparedness. We talked about getting food. We talked about water, medical supplies. Consider if you're going to have economic hardship, there's going to come a time where I listened to Canadian Prepper, fantastic channel. He talks about there comes a time where, you know, it may be time to max out the credit cards because it's no going back. There comes a time where there won't be any going back. You set that proverbial red line for you and your family. In terms of security threats, establish plans for evacuation, for defense and communication in dangerous, hostile situations. You need to have an evacuation plan. Do you have maps? If comms go down, if your cell phone go down, do you know how to get to your location through back roads? Because the main roads are going to be flooded with people. You may need a regular map, physical map, spiral map. So go look at that, go consider that. And yeah, that's what I have. That's the mindset that the Father has placed on me. That is the encouragement that I want to give you today. That should you be so inclined, consider getting your family on war footing. This is not 2019. This ain't even 2022 or 2024. The world is changing. You have to change. You should update your theology, update your economic plans, your disaster plans, update all these things based on current information. Maybe you didn't have the best information then. New information is coming out now. Look at what the posturing of these world figures is changing, family. We should change too. We are the sons and the daughters of the Most High Yah. None of these things should catch us by surprise. We are not ignorant of the enemy's devices. We know what's coming. That's what separates our book from other books that tout morality. Yeah, morality is good, yeah, but y'all ain't got the prophecies. We know what's going to happen because our power has declared the end from the beginning. And we're thankful for being aligned with him as our tribal deity. May the Most High bless you and strengthen you and give you wisdom to traverse and to endure unto the end, for the same shall be saved. Shalom, family. Consider liking and subscribing this video. Share it if it's been beneficial to you. We want to get up to 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to start posting a little bit more because the word is coming to me. It's coming to me, yeah. And I just want to share that which I've been given and I'm actually doing. Before the word comes to you, it comes to me and through me. I have to eat it. I got to eat the whole loaf, the good, bad, ugly, the indifferent, whatever that might be. But I'm thankful to be a vessel for the Most High. And hopefully this word has blessed you. All right, family. Shalom. Shalom.